God bless you guys. This is Chris Classic dropping another car vlog. Remember, this is the day the good Lord has made. I know that some of us may have woken up on the wrong side of the bed because of things that have been happening, good and bad. But remember that God still loves you. He had a book. People created a book from experience through him and his son, Jesus Christ, on how we overcome it and what we can do about it. Remember that we are saved by grace and not by work, according to Ephesians. God bless you guys. If you guys want to talk to me about anything, I'm here. AEW has a lot of factions. Factions or wrestling groups. They have a lot of groups. I think they have too many. But I know why they have so many. You get what I'm saying? And I understand the approach sometimes. But sometimes you just need to find something for everybody to do, or just send people home until you have somebody to do. And I truly think that's what's going on with all of these factions and stuff. You know, Dark Order is like one of the first ones. They was like the first, ones they had. And then when Brody Lee came into the picture, the Exalted One, he was, the leader and stuff. And then they had a lot of people, and then eventually they started doing it. And a lot of people stopped. They didn't like it. Got tired of it. They felt like they wasn't going to get pushed more. Anna Jay is with another faction, the Jericho Appreciation Society, led by Chris Jericho, who was the inner circle and stuff like that. So you have a lot of groups, you have a lot of factions and stuff like that. And I can understand why. You want to try to give people something to do. But the harsh reality and obvious reality is you cannot give everybody something to do. Everybody in the group doesn't need to wrestle every day. And I do understand you have them in a group so they don't have to. But then you have so many groups. Who is what and what is more important? You get what I'm saying? Moxley is part of the Blackpool Combat Club, which consists of Claudio Castagnoli, Willer Yuta, William Regal, and Bryan Danielson. You have all of these guys. And, when it's time to tag, they tag. Then when it's not, they like disperse. But most of the time, they're clicked up together. You have the Jericho Appreciation Society. What is it? It's so many people. Everybody named Mama's in their group. You got Jericho. You got Daniel Garcia, Anna Jay, Ty Conti, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager with that purple hat, Daddy Magic, Mac Daddy, Crisscross, Cupid Shuffle. Forgive me, I forgot the other guy's name. But you get what I'm saying. Now, House of Black, because I do believe that Malachi is coming back. But, yeah, it's more. The Firm with Stokely, that's with who? William Morrissey, Lee Moriarty, Ethan Page. I think I'm forgetting somebody. Forgive me. I'm just thinking about it as I go. MJF from time to time, I guess. What's their name? Billy Gunn's Sons, the Gun Club, whatever. Excuse me for cursing. But going back into it, it's just like it's so many groups. And I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to give people something to do. They're trying to keep people relevant. But sometimes you can make them irrelevant by putting them in groups, especially when there's nothing else for them to do. You know what I'm saying? Now it's no lure to them because nowadays factions go in factions. So when it's time for blood and guts, you want to have one. When it's time for a stadium match, whatever, anarchy at the arena, like you can't keep having these at every pay-per-view. You just cannot. You get what I'm saying? You cannot keep doing it. And I understand, but the purpose of the faction is sometimes to elevate a few people or everybody in the group. Sometimes the older guy, they have a faction because they're teaching, then they're leading and stuff like that. A la Blackpool Combat Club with William Regal and stuff like that. And even with Evolution, when you had Ric Flair. Like you have these kind of things, even in the Horseman standpoint as well. You have these guys, the older guys that know the game and is trying to teach people. Then you usually have the guy that's going to be the big guy, the next big star. You know what I'm saying? Usually they may be the leader or they may be under it. Sort of like how The Rock and Farouk was in The Nation. We are the nation. Domination. Like, you get what I'm saying. Usually you have two guys. Usually they'll go for a secondary title, or you may hunch them together and have tag team titles or something like that. Some guy that is like a rookie, a couple guys that are like the future upstarts. Sort of like Orton and Batista was an evolution, even though Batista was older than Triple H. But we're going to skim right over there, right? So factions usually are great components because they complement each other. Everybody doesn't really wrestle the same. Somebody may be different. You may like somebody better than somebody else in the group, but that's what it is. You get what I'm saying? And with AEW, I know they're using it more as to give some people TV time as much as possible. And it's admirable and it's honorable because you don't want to let a lot of people go. There's only a few people who, the contracts didn't get renewed. And, they didn't technically get released unless they really wanted to or anything like that. But now Tony's holding hostage, and it's a big roster. WWE has a big roster, too, as well. But at the same time, a faction is usually something, strength in numbers, more of it like this. But nowadays, it doesn't even matter if somebody's in a faction because, low-key, if they're a bad guy faction, they're losing against the face, nobody from that group is going to interfere sometimes, and sometimes they miss their cue. Oh, the Trustbusters as well, with Ari Daivari, Sonny Kiss, Parker Boudreaux, Slim J. I don't know that guy's name, but then they got like a butler for some strange reason. Team Taz was one, but they disbanded. I really liked them together. I'm not gonna lie, that was probably my favorite group out of everybody. But anyway, groups can mean something, and groups can also be filler. They can make room for somebody. 6-man tags, AEW is known for 6-man tags. So you can do the Rumble, the Battle Royals that they do. You can do things like that. So I do understand. I do think they have a lot of them. There's only a few that actually stick. I think the ones obviously that stick is Jericho and, whatever he does with a faction. And then also Blackpool Combat Club. Because of the championships they have garnered so quick, and then even like Moxley being the champ and stuff like that, that brings a little light to their group. I see what they're trying to do with it. I think there's a few people I would have put more in that group than who they have, but it is what it is. Dark Order, they had the thing. They were popular. They were a little popular before Brody Lee came, and then when Brody Lee came and took them to the roof. But then, unfortunately, when he passed, I think they hold on to it to carry his legacy outside of having his son, Brody Lee Jr., show up from time to time. But I do think it's time to disband the Dark Order. You could make the guys tags. You can make them go for trios if you're just having 3 people or whatever. But as a group, doesn't need to happen. Anna Jay is gone. She's with the Jericho Appreciation Society. And I truly believe that I don't think that's going to help her. I don't think Jake is going to be helped. Besides just having job security, because everybody knows that Jericho has pull in the company, obviously, and he has a role in AEW. But Jake showed up, and it was like, okay, let's see what he's going to do, and it's just like the same monotone. No offense to you, Jake. I remember he debuted in Lucha Underground, and he was dang near the same way. Now they have him with the hat. The way AEW and the way internet and stuff going viral go, I hope that works out for him. That may help him develop a character that, hey, you're trying to be serious, but now you're wearing a hat that was intended for somebody else. But anyway, Ty Conti, just from affiliation of being married to Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is there because you got to have somebody there that's very young. And don't get me wrong, he should really be punished if he hasn't been. Somebody need to sit him down. I think Jericho needs to sit him down. I think if Jericho wasn't there, Sammy would have been up out of it. You know what I'm saying? Sammy has struck out with a lot of people with a lot of things that he do online, things that he said in interviews, starting fights, running from fights, all of that stuff. Inappropriate pictures with his wife, all that. Daddy Magic and them, I see they have Promise. I forgot his name from the 2.0 group. They have Promise. I will say, like, they do have Promise, but I do think that, like, if they have the time to outshine everybody else because they have personalities, especially Daddy Magic, whatever his name is, I think that's the problem with having groups sometimes, is that you guys sometimes want people to cheer for certain people to get behind them, but then they fail. If it fails because sometimes people like other people. You can't force people to like. You can, and sometimes it works. Let me retract that. But as far as like a faction goes, like it's just a lot of factions, and factions can have meetings. Sometimes you can just put these guys together and they can do something and make it work. But usually there's levels to it. It's a structure for a great and successful faction. I think the Shield, I think the New Day, It's too early to tell with Jericho Appreciation Society because of the stuff we had with the Inner Circle. With the Inner Circle, that was Jericho, that was Hager, that was Santana Ortiz, that was Sammy Guevara. Then they had a super group with MJF and FTR and Wardlow, and then they divided each other. And then you had the Pinnacle led by MJF, and then you had the Inner Circle by Jericho. So it's just so much. And Jericho being the vet, obviously he's trying to give these guys a good rub. And that's why he keeps switching guys and stuff and winning titles and stuff. And not to knock the ROH Championship, but that's not considered a world title to me anymore. It's not. He called himself the Ultra and he wants to. It is what it is, you know. But yeah, I see the aesthetic of having groups and factions and stuff like that, because some people love to see multi-man, multi-women Survivor style series style matches or Carnage. They like to see it. Crowd goes crazy for it, but at the same time, you know, you just can't give everybody something to do. And sometimes a faction should have meeting more than less of a meeting instead of I have nothing for you, let's pair them together. I mean, even WWE did it. What was it? The Kabuki Warriors? It was Kyrie Sane, it was Asuka and Paige, and it was like Paige, who was like the manager, had no reason to leave these women. And it was a racial undertone to it that a lot of people did not like because these two women weren't American and stuff like that. And then even with people of color being dealt with certain things, you know, some things worked and some things didn't. You know, I liked Hurt Business. Everybody liked Hurt Business. I like New Day. New Day was something that they thought of, but it all worked together. But sometimes just because somebody looks like somebody, but they have something in common, it doesn't mean that they're going to be a successful group or they're even going to gel well. But that's what I wanted to speak about. They have a lot of factions. They could simmer some down. They could cut some up. They can make tag teams if they want to. They can make singles things. It's an overbloated roster already. They could change it, but we'll see where it goes from there. So I did want to talk about why it's so many factions. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day as I'm heading into work. God bless. This is Chris Classic, and let's take it home.